All right, we have Jem here in the studio for Kids Culture Club. Good afternoon, Jem.
Good afternoon.
You look so flowery today.
Oh,
I
thank
like
you.
your dress.
I feel like autumn a little
Yeah,
bit.
I like your headband or something. Do you
Yes.
call it a headband or something?
Yes, a headband or a little bow. I'm hoping it makes me youthful for the
You're
day.
still young.
Still young.
Yo, that's a question. Our question of today, let me ask it to you, Is there something that, I know you have kids and you're married already, but before you had kids and before you got married, was there something that you thought you must have done before you had kids or before you got married? Or maybe if you did not think of it back then, maybe thinking of it now, I should have done this before I got married and had kids. Do you have something like that?
Yes, absolutely. I'm from Hawaii. So in Hawaii, kind of risky sports are very popular. Things like skydiving.
I want to skydive.
And cliff diving. And personally, surfing could also be risky if you're scared of water and scared of sharks. So I think probably one of the things I should have done is try skydiving. Now, I'm not a risk taker, but, I wouldn't take the risk now, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I really would love to bungee jump. I would love to skydive. I would love anything that will, have me falling down from somewhere up there, going down. But then again, thinking about it, I can't even ride, all of those thrill rides at a theme park these days after having kids.
Right. Those, it's a small thing and they take safety precautions, but you're like, no, this is too much. It's kind of the thought like after you have kids or get married, I have too much to lose now. Before it's just me, I'm young. But then when you have kids, you're like, oh no, well, if I'm gone, they need their protector, right?
Okay.
So I'd better stay alive for the sake of them.
Okay, there we go. Fate 3's Rev said, I got married before my 22nd birthday. I have 3 kids now and turning 35 this year. My goal before getting married is that I should finish my college degree with flying colors. And I am glad I did. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
So I would think she's probably, somewhere in a country like same as my time before, because if you're already graduate in college by 22 years old, that means you went to college by at least 16, 17 or 18.
Oh, right.
So,
very early.
Yeah, because I went to college when I was in 16. So I was supposed to graduate when I'm 22 or when I'm 20 or 21. So it's, the education system is different, though it has already changed now here.
Right.
Even in the Philippines as well. So you became a mom just a few years ago.
Right.
You gave birth to your daughter and then you later had a son. And it's not an easy decision, actually. I mean, some people do plan for it. Like, I will have my kids when I'm 35. I will have my kids when I'm 30. Like, my mom actually did that,
She did like that? Yeah.
She planned a 3-year gap for all of us. Like they had me 3 years after me. They had my brother, and it was supposed to be 3 years before, 3 years after my brother that they'll be having my youngest sister. But something slipped. And she did not reach 3 years. It's like 2 years something only.
She had a plan, and it was mostly going to plan. But, things happen. Life happens.
Sometimes
right?
you slip.
It's so
Okay.
funny. Yeah, I think that's a really big thing is a lot of people kind of have in their head the right time.
Did you have that?
Not really. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
not for the first, but the second, I also kind of felt like your mom. 3 years age gap is pretty good, right? But that's right. Some people say there's a right time, or is there even a right
know.
time?
Who knows?
When we
Who
talk
knows?
about age, but for me, I was 29 for my first and 32 for my second. But I am actually way later than all of my American
I would
friends.
think so.
All of their kids are now in elementary school, 3rd grade now. So maybe 12 or 13.
Okay.
But, I still have a baby. So it was very interesting that when I searched it, I was curious too. In America, what is the average age?
Yeah, what's the average age?
So back when I was, of birthing age, my friends
Of birthing
of
age.
birthing age.
You're still at birthing age.
Thank you. 10 years ago, it was 24, but they are seeing a steady increase. It is now 26.3 3
Yeah, but
years
that's
old.
fairly young still, right?
Yeah, and more interestingly, when I searched, I found that the age for the last baby, the average was 30.
Oh,
Yeah, so most
wow.
people stop by 30.
Uh-huh.
They have a few in their 20s and then stop. And you know, I remember you saying before, right? You had children at a very young age.
Oh, too young.
Too young.
Don't follow me.
Too many things. Well, what do you think compared to your friends, you know, back in the Philippines or even here? Was this typical? I mean, is there a big gap between you and your friends or?
Yeah, I would think so. Between me and my friends, there's a really big gap. I mean, everyone was. I mean, just remember, think about this. I'm having a wedding, and you know, the Philippine wedding is a typical, you know, it's sort of like the Western wedding, the wedding in the U.S., where you actually throw your bouquet to all the single women in the house.
Oh, in the
right?
house.
In the house. I mean, it's to all the single women in the party, right? And all of my friends don't want to get the bouquet because they don't want to follow me because I'm way too young.
I love it. People dodge the bouquet at weddings. It's not like the movies, guys.
Yes, so they're like, when I threw my bouquet, they were like holding on to their arms as closer as they can inside, you know, in their bodies. And it ended up falling right in front of my 13-year-old sister.
Oh, so did she take it?
She did not have any choice. Nobody wants to take it. So
Right.
so that will make you imagine how far or, you know, how different is how early I got married as compared to my friends. Most of them actually graduated college before, you know, getting hitched
Oh,
and all
right.
of that. But as I know, I think the average age for the Philippines, you know, for the first birth is just 23.
23. Yeah, even if we don't
23,
know.
So it's really young.
Really young. Yeah, so still fairly young, but not as young as like 18, right?
Well, you know, it differs from generation to generation, I would think. My grandmother-in-law used to tell me, hey, you got married at 18. Yeah, that's so young. And she'd tell me, no, I got married at 16, way younger than you are.
Right, younger than you. Exactly. And I felt the same. You know, my grandmother was born in 1931 and she's still living. She told me she was married by 17, had her first kid by 18. And I have 4, so aunts and uncles, my mom included. My mom had my sister when she was just 20.
Oh,
And, you know, it's kind of not just the age, but we're different from previous generations with the amount of kids, too,
oh,
right?
yes, of course, the amount of kids.
So when I searched my grandparents' time, that was the average, about 4 kids per family. And my mom's age, 2 to 3 children, and now it's about 1 to 2 children. So we
Yeah.
do see the decrease. I know you have a lot of siblings as well. So maybe.
I mean, when it comes to I mean, I have a brother and a sister with my mom, and my mom has got like 5 siblings. My father's side, they got 6 siblings, and here in Korea, my father-in-law, there were 7 of them.
Yeah, wow.
And I mean, my grandmother-in-law before, way back, God bless her soul, she used to tell me that she could have had 12, but you know, she lost some of them.
Oh,
It was
right.
difficult because those were difficult times, the war and everything, and she can't, you know, she can't finish, she can't carry the baby all throughout its 10-month run, or maybe she'll lose them halfway. And some of the kids, she just lost on the streets and was never found.
Really?
Yes.
Literally?
Literally. So
Wow.
there were just 7 of them left.
Wow.
My father-in-law's siblings, 7 of them left already. So
I think that's right. The mortality rate was a lot, you know, a lot different back then. So
course.
people had more kids because they don't know how many of them will make it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And, you know, things are changing here in Korea too. Just want to mention, you know, we were talking before about the age in Korea, right? The average
age of first birth.
I heard, you know, as of this year, the statistics are not fully out yet, but actually the age has increased quite a bit.
Oh, wow.
Maybe you heard the current birth rate is 0.81.
Yes.
Meaning most families have one child to none. And the age is about 33.1. Yes, years.
Oh, wow.
As of right now.
33.1. From 30, we're actually talking about 30.3.
Right.
Earlier on, it's now 33.1.
Yeah, they seem, it's from this year. Yeah,
Okay.
it's going up and up and up. So we expect.
I mean, with all of the things that we've been talking about here in the show, we probably know the reasons why.
Right. So the reasons are not officially, but of course, when they discuss this topic, for moms, they have demanding work culture. It's more expensive to live here, high housing costs. And I even saw an article earlier today that people are thinking about the costs way in the future, right?
Yeah.
Even I have to send my children to school. I have to send them to academies.
Yeah,
I have
it's
to
like
send them to university.
Irok per kid.
Yeah, that's
They're
the
actually
estimate,
thinking,
right?
yeah, they're thinking Irok, or that's 100 million won per kid.
But this one is just my personal opinion. I do also think people are choosing to have children later because they want to enjoy their life more first, just like we were talking about today.
Yeah.
They want to develop their skills and their career, and they don't want to feel that kind of regret that sometimes their parents say to them, right? Oh, I wish I would have done this. I could have done this.
Yeah, before I had kids.
Before I had kids, before I had
should have-
you.
I should have had tattooed eyebrows before I had those
Exactly.
kids.
So
Yeah.
I think that's the change of this generation is like
Yeah.
living life without regret.
Yeah,
I
living
don't-
life to the fullest before starting the other chapters. Right.
Right.
But how about those who have married at at a younger age?
Right. So I was thinking about this a lot, and there are some advantages, when people talk about having children at a younger age, like yourself, they say the biggest thing that is really good is the energy levels.
Ooh, because you're
Right.
still young.
You're still young, you're still energetic, and maybe your parents are also not that elderly, so to speak. So grandparents are also very active too.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people said they feel that it helps them mature faster, as well as they still feel plenty of time to decide if they want more kids.
Yeah.
Like, I have one kid, I have enough time to decide, do I want to have another one later? And that, of course, the biggest benefit, empty nest earlier in life, like yourself.
Yeah, empty
Any thoughts?
nest. I mean, I am in my mid 40s, and I already have a 28 and 24-year-old. A 24-year-old daughter, a 28-year-old kid, and they're probably going to leave the nest pretty soon. I'm going to be a
Right.
grandmother before I reach my hangap or my 60th birthday.
And an active grandma,
And
a
an
very
active.
energetic grandma you will
Yeah, I think I mean, I don't know, but I haven't thought about that. But I was having this conversation with my cousin during another cousin's wedding, and he is, he doesn't believe in marriage. Like, he's 2 years younger than I am. He hasn't been married and have no plans of getting married. And he said, I told him the advantages. I mean, look at me. I'm in my mid 40s. All of my kids are all grown up. Now I have the time all to myself. I have done whatever it is that I have to do in life. And he said, no. You haven't done everything that you have to do in life, because there are things that you can only do when you're 20. There are things that you can only do when you're 30. So those things you never had opportunity, and it will never come back.
I don't know about
Yeah.
that, but there are plenty of advantages to having, of course, having no children, but even having children later in life, like
Yeah.
a lot of people are doing, right? I found this very interesting. Did you know if you have children later in life, children have a higher chance of a high IQ, which was interesting.
Oh, yeah. I think I remember that.
Yeah, and so that was a really, really cool point, and that overall older moms are more emotionally stable. Isn't that funny? But
Well, it wasn't really that bad on my side. I mean, I played like my kids did.
so they say, because you're at that point in your life, you probably have a home, you probably have a secure job, you feel the, stability, that they don't feel the career loss if they stop working to have kids. And another fun fact, less likely to divorce. So I had no idea. This was really eye-opening for me too.
Less likely to divorce if you actually have kids later on in life, because probably you would think that you have already done what you have to do in life, and now you're opening a new chapter for yourself,
Right.
having kids, taking care of kids, and doing all of that. Now, even though, we call our segment the Kids Culture Club, some of our listeners, some of our divers out there may not have kids yet, just like Niall. And maybe someone out there aren't really planning to have any at all. Any thoughts for them?
Yes, having kids is great, but I know that it's not for everybody. I can absolutely understand the frustration from society and especially towards women that the idea you have to have kids for a sense of fulfillment in your life.
yeah.
But the truth is you can get fulfillment from any kind of place. Some people raise plants, pets, their husbands. So
You can raise your husband.
you can raise your husband just the same way you would raise a kid.
Believe me, they never grow up.
So you have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But it's true. You can find your fulfillment in other ways. Not everybody's into kids and family. Enjoying your life the way you want to. I think that's the best
I know.
option, right?
I mean, if you're just like my cousin, who I just talked about, who's 2 years younger than I am, you probably would believe, or you probably would believe me if I, not believe me, but you will probably agree with him, because the reason he's telling me why he's not getting married is the fact that he doesn't want to have kids just like himself. He doesn't want to raise himself.
That's a good reason.
If that's one of your reasons, okay, I agree. I support your idea. Thank you very much for all of that today,
Yes.
Jem. And thank you very much for sending all of your messages here to us on Diverse Voices. That wraps up the show for today. This has been Jasmine with our producer, Igil Min, our writer, Nael, our sound engineer. Of course, Jem here in the studio with us. Make sure you join us once again tomorrow at 4 p.m. We'll leave you with a song. This is Primary with Baby featuring Juyeon. I can't say baby anymore, but I still love you all.
느낌부터 다르잖아 날 그냥 네 옆으로 움직이게 해 관심 없어 하지만 내겐 느껴지잖아 yeah. Girl I wanna show you my world